Thank you, Matthew. If you're like a lot of us, you have a refrigerator full of Thanksgiving leftovers this morning. If you're looking for a creative way to repurpose your holiday food, check out today's recipe from Wilmington chef Dean Neff. He recently joined WWI's Donna Gregory at the Seasoned Gourmet Kitchen and designed a turkey and collard green soup that brings a whole new meaning to comfort food.
So it's after the holidays, and what do you do with all the stuff in your fridge? Here to tell us is Chef Dean Neff. He's a Wilmington chef, and you're opening up a restaurant coming up early next year.
Yep. So we're hoping it'll be February. It might be March, but we're going to open up on the corner of Market and Front Street.
This is Seabird.
It is Seabird, yes, and we're going to be serving lots of seasonal seafood from the area. There's a lot of wonderful seafood in the area, and it's as seasonal as the produce that we see. So we really want to celebrate that aspect of seafood in our community.
So before we open, we've got leftovers from the holidays.
That's right.
What do we do?
So we've got our acorn squash, we've got some potatoes. You could even use mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are a great thickener for soup. And so instead of using a roux or flour, using potatoes can keep the starch and the gluten out of your soup.
Sweet potatoes would work as well?
Yeah, they would work great, actually. And then we've also got collard greens, which lots of bacon. Fat and greens are kind of a thing. Like, you have to have enough bacon fat to kind of coat those greens. And the liquid that you end up with, it has sherry vinegar, a little bit of brown sugar, some chili flake, onions. We call it pot liquor. And pot liquor is a great base for a soup as well. So we're gonna chop up some of this. We're gonna add in some of that pot liquor that's left over. We've got turkey. So we're gonna get cutting here on leftover kabocha squash. You could have acorn squash as well, would be great. We got potatoes. We've made a turkey stock with those turkey bones from our turkey that we spatchcocked and roasted, and brined in sweet tea. So that's gonna be kind of the base, the foundation. We're just cutting rough pieces here. This is gonna be something that you can, pop in the freezer and enjoy for a while. I know, we're gonna be doing our Thanksgiving in small form at home with immediate family, so there's gonna probably be a lot of leftovers. So it's good to use the freezer when you need to.
All right, and so we put all this in the stock, and then what? How long do we cook it?
So we're gonna add all this in. We've already made the stock, and so the stock has kind of really pulled all of the flavors out of the roasted bones. And this really, we can stew it down for 10 minutes or up to 2 hours. The longer it sits in there and kind of simmers, the better. The
more flavor.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of things that we've already developed wonderful flavor from. We've roasted that squash, we've roasted the turkey, the collard greens have cooked for a long time. One secret I like to use and have on hand in the restaurants, and at home it's nice too, is having a little what we call sofrito or mirepoix that we've cooked down ahead of time.
And that's onions based, right?
Yep, so we've got, there's leeks, onions, carrots, celery, and some parsnip, and we cooked them down really slowly. This is a great way to add a lot of flavor to a soup instantly, because we've sauteed it down with a little bit of olive oil, and it really just brings out all of those wonderful aromatic flavors.
And so this is good for company because it's going to be pretty with all of the different colors and the different textures?
Absolutely. For me, this time of year, soup is one of the most comforting things you could possibly serve, and we eat it all the time at home.
Yeah, and then if you aren't able to be with your family, this is something that you can treat your family like company.
Exactly. Or you can freeze it and you can say, hey, here's some soup from last Thanksgiving, like next year when everything is hopefully we're all together. So we're gonna add the collard greens in here. We're adding that pot liquor. And I personally like to add just a little bit of cream at the end as well.
So it gives it a nice thicker finish and a prettier color.
And if you have any stuffing, you could even garnish this with just a little bit of stuffing on top to add like a little crunch and kind of really utilize all of your Thanksgiving leftovers in the appropriate way. The cream, you don't have to add it, but I kind of like the way it enriches the soup and just kind of comforting on its own. And then you want to make sure and season it well, before you serve it. Make sure there's enough salt. We always try to season things as we go, but it's really important to taste your food and make sure that at the very end you're giving it one last season.
And you don't shake, you distribute.
That's right. That's right.
Because
you gotta hold it up high. You gotta hold it up high and distribute. So yeah, we're gonna serve a big bowl of this and
say happy holidays the day after.
That's right.
All right, and that soup will freeze for several months, and you can reheat it using a microwave, stovetop, or crock pot. And Monday on Good Morning Carolina, Donna helps Chef Neff make a after-a-holiday cocktail featuring bourbon and, of all things, cheer wine. And by helping, we mean she's the taste tester.